Any thoughts?
So many.
All right, JP, good morning. How we doing, sir?
Good morning, Mickey. Doing great.
Everybody, welcome to Midlife Muscle Strength Podcast. We're back. We had a little week off. JP was traveling. I was busy with soccer, so it was a nice little reprieve. But we're glad to be back. It's day 7 of rain here in New Hampshire. It is. I was just telling you, it's great for my lawn, but the cloudy, dreary weather is bringing me down a little bit. I want to get my pool open up and ripping here, and it's a little bit hard to do when you've had 12 inches of rain in the last week.
Does the weather actually affect you? Like it
No,
affect
I'm
your?
not like that. It's more so I'm not. I think I can't say I'm not like that. I think it's physiological. I think that there is, like scientifically, there is seasonal quote unquote depression, right, where less sunlight, not being outside as much does affect you. So I can't say it doesn't affect me. I'm impervious, but I'm not someone who is going to wear that on my sleeve. And I'm being a bit sarcastic, but it is, this is the sweet spot. Normally around Mother's Day for my garden people out there, my green thumbs, Mother's Day is like usually the time when that's garden time. So if you're doing a vegetable garden in New Hampshire, at least where we are in our region, around Mother's Day is when you're supposed to plant stuff and do a lot of your garden stuff, because that's when the season kicks off. Because it's a little early before that, you might get a random frost that could be bad. But when the weather's like this, you sort of feel like, meh, can't get out there and do that stuff I need to do, so it delays it a little bit. So that it is a little bit sarcastic, but also a little bit true that it's kind of meh here right now with all the rain.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Like some people like it ruins their whole day. Like like they
Yeah,
can't like carry on. I just think it's like kind of crazy when people are take it that far.
yeah. I mean, I'm a perspective guy. I always look at it as an opportunity to do. If I gotta do stuff inside, okay, well, I got things I'm supposed to do inside, so I'll just pivot to whatever's got to be done in the house because it's just raining too much to do stuff outside. So as far as workout stuff goes, it is a bummer though sometimes, in the sense that yesterday actually I wanted to just go out and do a little bit of a jog and bike thing where I was going to bike a little bit, jog a little bit, just to move my legs around, like a zone 2 workout. And it was just raining so hard that I just went to bike because I didn't really want. I just biked in the garage. I didn't go out into the rain because I didn't want to get all soaking wet. And it was dark at that point, so I was like, it's not worth the risk. Just going
Yeah.
out there and getting hit by an Amazon truck coming here to drop off my wife's stuff, going for a
Right.
jog in the rain. So,
Yeah.
is it raining down there, or you got sunshine down
Sunshine,
south?
rainbow, and rainbows.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I gotta look at it. I gotta look at houses down there.
70, 80 degrees, and
Oh my god.
I think we're supposed to get some rain this coming week, kind of like that storm you guys got, but nothing too bad.
Yeah. So, the weather is what it is. You can't control the weather. You just gotta roll with it.
That's right. That's right.
I was saying to you before we jumped on, I said, "Hey, we might as well hit record and talk about it." I just had my birthday on Tuesday.
My
And
birthday's at the end of the month, so we have the same
yeah,
birthday month.
are you a Taurus, or what's your
Gemini.
sign? Gemini. Yeah. So, makes a lot of sense. I have no idea what it means.
Yeah.
I'm not an astrology guy. I don't know what it means, but I just know I'm a Taurus. So I turned 39 Tuesday, and I'm not, birthdays are fun. I've celebrated with my kids. Shannon was actually traveling, but we had a fun day. But I just kind of came to the realization, I was like, I don't know how old I am. And what I mean by that is, like, it's not like each year on year I'm like, oh man, I really feel it. Like when that day comes, I'm like, I'm 39. Oof. Like, I say that in a good way. Like, I don't know how old I am, because there hasn't been a marked difference to me, like year on year or even several years counting on top of each other as we've gone, through my 30s, where I've been like, man, like this year was wicked. I just feel so old, or my body's breaking down, or this, that, and the other. And now nobody beats Father Time, right? Father Time always wins. But I think in a lot of ways it's a testament to just being as consistent I've been for as long as I have been, that I don't feel like old, or I don't feel as old as I should, I guess, because I look at other people who are 39 and I'm like, geez, like, you don't look so great for 39. Like, you're not doing great. And like, you vocalize it. There's people I know who are 39 and they're just like, man, I feel old. I'm not in a good spot physically, mentally, just all that stuff. And again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it was weird to me because Tuesday kind of came and went. And I was like, I'm 39. Like, I'm gonna be 40 next year. And like, I feel great. I feel good. I don't feel the years on me. And I know eventually, like I said, that's going to come. You can't beat Father Time, but as long as you are consistent in doing that stuff year on year, I think you can stave it off longer and feel better longer if you can.
Yeah, I think that's. I feel the same way. I'm turning 38, and I don't know. It just doesn't really. I mean, I definitely feel different, like reflecting back than like we talk about when we did CrossFit. Now, I was like in my 30s, 25, 30s. Like, obviously, I felt different back then, but I think I had different focuses in life too. Like now, I'm like, it's easier to kind of maintain my fitness, being a father and kind of husband, and um, yeah, I don't know. I've talked to people. I'm like, hey, when does it fall off? Like, you talk to clients or family members, and like, when did you feel like you just like hit the bottom, and you just started bouncing off the bottom? And they said around like 50, 55. I think like, but it'd be interesting for someone like you, even me. I put myself in that category of like, will it be a softer fall? Will it be a slower descent? Like, obviously, you said Father Time's undefeated. It's not like unrealistic that we're going to get to a point where we're like, oh man, I can't do what I did in my 30s. But like, I think you have to change your expectations as well. Like, are you going to be playing soccer when you're 50? I hope you are. But like, I don't know. Like, will we feel our age more, or have we been just consistent enough or nice enough to our bodies where it's not going to be that crash?
Hmm.
Um, it'll be interesting, but definitely happier. I think at the older you get, it's funny. I like worked for a guy. He's like, I think he's in like 60s, and he's like in incredible shape. And he gets way more clients just being older because like everyone's going down as you're going up.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, it'd be interesting. Like, even training wise, like I think it's harder for people as they get older. And
Yeah.
I'm happy I have a good foundation where I can, not that I'm at my top physical fitness peak at all points, but like, I can easily turn it up or turn it down if I need to, just depending on what life's throwing at you. And I think like having that flexibility is nice, where like you don't have to push. Like, we don't necessarily have to like make these huge drastic changes. We've just been doing it for so long, which I think like is helpful. I think like just that consistency over time is huge.
Yep, totally. So, speaking of huge things, our topic today is a big one that's in the just in the ether. People are talking about it a ton on the news and social media, and it's AI. Specifically, the one that I've been playing with is ChatGPT, but how it plays into the fitness realm for coaches, for programming, and in some ways, I don't want to make it overwhelming or like ominous, but like, is AI going to replace coaches, or can AI replace programmers and experts in the fitness field? If you use that rather than paying a person, why don't you just go on ChatGPT and have it pump out programs for you? So I've recently just been playing around with it and experimenting with it on myself. But you said you've been playing around with it for other things for a little bit longer, just trying stuff out. So my initial, just to kick off the conversation, is what's your thoughts on ChatGPT? Like, is it a positive thing, a negative thing? Like, what is your just initial reaction to ChatGPT? Because I have my own. I remember when it first came about, but what's your initial like feeling towards this technology?
My initial gut reaction was like, this is going to make people like much dumber because you don't have to think. Like, you can just kind of like plug it in. And then I started using it maybe like maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I started using it, and I think it's an unbelievable like tool to kind of like structure, even like summarize articles that you read or books, or like it's a great like it's almost like a virtual assistant. So you can ask it questions, and then I just would never take what it says as like I would just put it out right away. I think it's a great like rough draft. So anything you're doing, whether it's a paper you're trying to write, a program you're trying to implement. Because I've used it before to kind of like create an outline of like, okay, well, this is what I want to do for some clients, or this is how I want to project it over the next like 6 months.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's a great like first draft, but I wouldn't say it's like perfect.
Hmm.
There's some nuances to it, which we can get into a little bit, but I think it's a good tool. I think that's what all it is. It's
I
not
love
like
how you labeled it. I love how you label it as a tool, because I think
yeah,
that is important for people to understand that it's a tool. And just like any tool, it has certain purposes and certain uses. Like you don't open a bottle with a hammer. You need the right tool, because if you try to open a bottle with a hammer, you're going to bust the top off and have a huge mess, right? So you use the tool for what it's for, and nothing more, nothing less, and you'll be fine. Because I agree with you, your exact sentiments about it. My first reaction when AI came out was, and ChatGPT came out and people were talking about it, was kind of similar to how I was with smartphones. I remember when smartphones came out and I was like, never getting one, never touching it, don't want it. Right. I'll stick with a flip phone, forever. Cause I like, what do I need? What do I need my phone to go on the internet? I have a laptop. What do I need my phone to have music on it? Like I have an iPod and that kind of thing. And then over time, I've realized like, oh, actually, a smartphone, as many drawbacks as it has, is an amazing tool because it has all that stuff in one place, so I can do things with it that I can't do with other things, right? So ChatGPT to me is a tool, just like you said. And when I've recently been playing with it, and I've done very similar things where you can ask it a question or prompt it, and it just gives you a quick, rough sort of place to start, almost gets the ball rolling, lights the spark in a way, and then you can take that and do with it what you will. It's not the end all be all. There are lots of flaws, especially if you don't know what questions to ask it, or how to ask the questions. And I think that's something we can get into when we talk about the programming and coaching side of it more in depth. But definitely a tool, definitely not it is not refined, it is not perfect, but it is something that anyone can use, not just a coach or a programmer. You could use it if you're a chef. You're like, well, I got these 6 things in the fridge, what can I make? And it'll give you sort of a rough idea. You still have to be the chef, you still have to put together the ingredients and add your touch to it to make it taste like a good meal. But it'll maybe give you an idea like, oh, I didn't even think of that. But Chat GPT kind of gets you going in that direction, and then you take it and run with it.
yeah.
So let's kind of go down through a few different things. So first things first, um, how do you, when you use ChatGPT as a coach programmer, like what have you used it for? Like in terms of what questions have you asked it, or what prompts have you given it, and what kind of response has you gotten? Just like on a base level, and like assessing
Uh,
how well it spits out what you're looking for.
yeah, I've used it as like, prompt it to, I think you have to prompt it to answer the question like as a certified personal trainer. Uh, so you kind
So
of
you typed
prompt
that in. You wrote like, if you're a certified personal trainer, what would be?
act as if you're a certified personal trainer.
Oh
So
wow, I
like,
did not do that when I prompted it. So that's a great point.
yeah, yeah. So you have to like tell it where it's coming from or what perspective to take. Um, I think that's always important no matter what you're using for prompts. And then you kind of like just write in, I've used it for, create a program for 39-year-old soccer athlete who has, a tight back, or you kind of like write down like all the issues a client might have. And it kind of like spits out a program for you. And you can even like add the structure. I want a 3-day week program. I want, you know, it to be full body. I want it to, have use this equipment, and I want to, avoid these are injuries that this client might have. So you kind of give it a framework, it spits it out. It doesn't necessarily like I've done it before, and it just like spits out like all upper body movements, or like
Oh, okay.
or the split between upper and lower isn't that like equal. So there's like some flaws in it, but like it just gives a good like we said framework. But that's kind of how I used it, or I have used it. And it's not like it just, I never have taken a program and just copy pasted it. It just
I was just gonna say you're not copy and pasting that over.
no, no. It just like it gives you an idea, like kind of just like you said. I think a great way you said it is like kind of light the spark a little bit. I think it's helped me a lot on like a lot of clients I work with have limited equipment, so it just gives me like some ideas of like,
Oh,
oh
that's
yeah,
a
this
great.
like so it's like this client is only body weight and dumbbells, so then it spits out a program, and then
Mm-hmm.
like maybe that movement they give doesn't fit, but then I have in my idea or in my Rolodex of like exercises, I'm like, oh, this one would be much better. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of just replacing them and then changing the order, changing the structure. But like I said, it's just like a little bit of like a starting point. Some different idea. I think the ideas on it, it's just the basics. It's not really like the flashy movements, or I think a lot of times like even if you have it act as a certified personal trainer, like a lot of the movements, this is another conversation, but like I think there's some bro science out there's some science out there, like, and then there's some stuff that actually works, like if you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mix between the two of like, I know this is a good movement, but it is something better out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of like tweaking it for that client or what they need. So you're
Yeah.
still making specific, and then yeah, so that's kind of how I've used it.
Yeah, I love how you well, like the way AI works. If people aren't aware, and I'm no techie, right? I'm not from Silicon Valley, but basically AI pulls from all the existing data that exists. It's not, it can't create technically, right, its own data from nothing. It has to. It's pulling from what already exists. So when you just said, there's certain things that we know are science that exists out there, or bro science. It could theoretically pull from something that is out there because it grabbed the information. It's prevalent on the internet. It's prevalent in certain articles or whatever about getting a better squat, and it throws it back at you because AI just basically recognizes information that already exists and then compiles it into whatever format you're asking for, the program you're asking for. And you might see that and be like, well, I've done that before and it doesn't really work that great. I know a little bit of a better way, because AI can only be as specific as it can be to what you asked it, and doesn't know what you already know either. So it's just spitting out information that already exists, which I
Yeah,
think is kind of one of the flaws, of the whole thing when you look at it from a big picture.
and specifically in like ChatGPT, if you stay on the same chat, so I've had it this chat I've been on, it like the more information you apply in like implement into the chat, like the more it learns about
Mm-hmm.
what your style is. So like I have one like this is programming. And if
Yeah.
I see like a good article, I upload it to that chat, like the website. So like it's getting like the stuff that I'm looking at or I'm like approving as
Mm-hmm.
like this is the first filter that you're using. So it's gotten better the more I've used it. When you just like start a chat right away with information, it's just kind of general, but then it's kind of more specific on the twist I've given it, and it kind
Mm-hmm.
of takes all the data or all that stuff in that one message that you used, and it kind of applies it moving forward. So if you, it does very well if you like upload a certain website and like use the website on this or use the information on this website. If you upload that website, like it does a much better job of searching. Like it kind of like it's more specific. So
Because you've steered it in a direction that you're looking for, right? Almost, you've almost
correct.
biased it, right? Biased it towards a certain idea that you like.
Yeah, and then I think
Um,
that's like as a coach, you have a bias as well, and
oh, for sure.
you're always trying to improve on it, and maybe like, hey, I'm doing no plyometrics. Maybe like what, like let me do some research, or what can I improve on, or there's always some tweaks you're making with it.
Geez, I didn't know when we put this topic out there that JP was a ChatGPT expert. I was like, oh, we're both rookies at this. This guy's over here. I think he works for OpenAI.
Come on, man.
So I've been very recent, like last month, is I've been playing with it because like I said, I was very like, I don't like, I'm getting Matrix vibes here. I don't want to be turned into have to fight off agents like Neo, because it just freaked me out a little bit. Just that, like you said, I thought people were just going to go gung ho and do everything through AI. And I think for the most part, we don't give humans enough credit for being a little bit more savvy than we realize. But yeah, I just kind of pumped in some basic questions and learned over time I need to refine this more and more. So my first thing I ever put into it was build me an in-season soccer program and it spit out a soccer program, and it had a bunch of stuff that I didn't want. It had like practices, skill work, and all this other stuff that I didn't want in my program. It might have been a good program if you're running like a high school or college team, but I didn't want it in my program. So I think I refined it like 5 times. I was like, build me an in-season soccer program with 1 game a week focused on speed and power. And then I kept going and adding refined, basically prompts until it gave me something that I kind of liked. But even after that, it gave me what I saw as probably too much lower body stuff for a week with soccer at my age, because I didn't put my age in. I didn't think even to put my age in. And I didn't think it spaced things out well, like between like day on day. It would have like squats and Bulgarian split squats or trap bar deadlifts. Then the next day I'm doing speed and agility stuff. And I kind of always feel like my body needs a day between those things. If I'm doing strength lower body, I got to do something, either rest or upper body the next day, and then maybe do some sprint and plyometric stuff the next day, like a day later. So there are limits to it. I tried to get as specific as I could as I learned, and it still kind of spit out some good ideas and frameworks. But I still was like, I don't really love this. So I took some of the ideas and built a program for myself right now that I'm doing with my soccer games on Sundays that I kind of like. And it's definitely different than what I would normally do. So it's kind of turned me in a different direction than I normally would go in season. But I sort of just was like, I'm going to throw my trust into this and see what it's like. And I'm 3 or 4 weeks in, and I feel fine. I'm definitely lower on the volume side than I probably would normally do, and doing a lot less lifting with my upper body than I normally do, but I'm just kind of trusting it and letting it run its course. So very similar to what you said, it has definite limits, and definitely is pretty basic. All the movements it gave me, I was like, these are very basic level. Like it's like box jumps, trap bar, deadlifts, lunges. There's not a lot of nuance, small details in there. It's very, very basic what it spits out. Even as I got more and more detailed with my prompt.
Yeah,
So,
I think the downfall, like you can, in all AI platforms are going to improve and they're going to get better, but I don't think there's ever a replacement for a coach. In the sense that like you you need someone like we do it weekly or daily. Like we have clients who text us and we're like, oh, my neck hurts. It's like, okay, well that whole program's shot then. It's like,
mm-hmm,
how do you deal with that? Like, and I just don't think that human element, or even just like, hey, I'm feeling like totally stressed and drained this week, or I have all this going on. Like, what should I do? Like, Chat GPT's like doesn't take into feelings, and like it's just very like ones and zeros. Like it's very
mm-hmm.
like yeah, it just doesn't have any emotions, you know.
Yeah. So let's jump into, like, before you
Yeah,
start this, like should coaches be worried, right? Should a programmer be concerned, like, oh my gosh, like people are just going to do this instead of paying me? Like, if this is your career, that's important, right? It's kind of like people who are worried that their jobs getting replaced by AI in the tech sector. Should coaches or programmers be worried that eventually this is going to replace them? Or even, I'm a teacher. People talk about technology replacing teachers. Should you be worried if you're a coach or a programmer in the fitness industry that AI is going to replace you? And you've kind of already started talking about that.
yeah.
But what are some of the main reasons? Like, if you were going to say some specific things that to ease the fears of coaches, why you don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon, at least. I know you mentioned feelings of athletes or just the day to day. What other things?
I mean, I do think like there is like I don't know. It'd be interesting. Like there are some programs out there you just buy. You're like, okay, this is a you know program. I just want to buy it, and it's like nothing. It's like there might be a support system, or might be like a group you can kind of join. I think those, you know, there might be a merit there. I think anything like that is just like still so broad. Like it's not specific to you, which I think might be in trouble quicker, depending what their niche is or what they're doing. But I think like if you're working with a coach one on one, I think there's a lot of like things that coach gives you that AI can't. Which like kind of like what I was saying is like you know, the emotional aspect, the support, the kind of like, hey, this is what I've done before, that personal hand experience, or just kind of talking you off the ledge about like, hey, I want like this is too hard, or you know, my body's broken, things like that. I think our AI won't be replacing, and even like making tweaks like with nutrition, or it like kind of takes the emotional side. Like if you had no emotions, we were all robots. Yes, AI would take over. Uh, but there's like a human element to it that I think you can't replace, and that AI, ChatGPT, anything you're using won't, you know, be able to, you know, overcome that.
Yeah, I agree with that. The human aspect of things is, at least at this point, it's still the one thing that separates us from from the technology, right? It's like that human side of things is irreplaceable. Having someone come to you and be like, "Hey, I just worked an 80-hour work week, and I've been sick for 3 days, and really just feeling cruddy. What like get me through this training week because I'm just having not a good time." AI is going to be like, "Oh, well, sit down and have some vitamin C and get some rest, and then touch base again in a week." Like that's it's not going to like it'll give you some basic scientific answer, but it's not going to be able to work you through that and really, and like you said, talk you off the ledge and get you through a hard time or get you through tough training or whatever you need. So I totally agree with that. I also think that, like, even if you're using AI, if you're not a an experienced trainer or programmer or coach, you don't even know what to ask it, right? Like you and I are still trying to figure out like what we're asking it to get good answers that we want. If you're someone who's brand new to fitness, like you don't know what to ask AI to get a good program, and whatever it spits out, you're just going to trust it. So, what are you going to trust, AI or a human you can actually interact with? So I don't think in that regard, coaches should be worried either, because I think people are still not experts, and a lot of people aren't experts in fitness to even know the questions to ask AI to get a good response, to get a good answer. And on top of that, whatever program is spit out, if you're a novice fitness person and not been in the field for a long time, you could look at the program and be like, "Is this optimal?" Like, okay, it says lunges. Could I do reverse lunges? Could I do a box step up? So whatever program it spits out, you may not even know, is this good? Like, is this worthwhile to do? Because I don't really have any confirmation AI is telling me that, but are you just going to trust it and then go with it? So those are kind of two other things I think coaches don't really need to worry yet, at least, because those are two things that it can't do. It can't replicate yet. It people don't know what questions to ask, and they don't know if the product given to them by ChatGPT is optimal, is really the best for whatever their goals are, whatever program they're looking for.
Do you think you could get in shape with just the basic, like whatever they pump out? Like if you're just starting fitness, I think there might be a spot where it is like just do whatever it says, like just start.
Yeah, there's a sliding scale, right? But if you're
Yeah,
a CrossFit athlete, let's say per se example, and you're like, I'm I'm a local comp level athlete, but I want to be a regionals level athlete. And you come to me or come to a CrossFit coach and you want to get to that level. You want to be to like semifinals, right? That's your next step. I don't think, and I'll, I could be proven wrong. Maybe I'll try it out today. If you put in what would uh, produce me a program for a semifinals CrossFit athlete, there's so much stuff out there and so many different things. It's going to spit you out a program that's probably going to be a hodgepodge of a ton of different stuff that might look good on paper, but you as an athlete, like you might have your own strengths and weaknesses and all these different variables that, like, are you going to type all that into Chat GPT and really get the answer you're looking for? Or if you type it in for yourself, are you going to bias it towards the things you like and not really get a program that you actually need to get better? So I don't think, if you're definitely on a higher level, that you will probably get the exact outcome or program you're looking for if you're using Chat GPT, apart from just using a real person, a real coach, especially one who has experience going there. Like you and I have been to semifinals, been to regionals, like we've done it, right? So we know, right? Chat GPT is just pulling from all this existing stuff and kind of throwing it together for you. Again, if you don't ask the right questions, you're not going to get the right answers.
Yeah, and I think it's like I heard this the other day. I was talking to someone, and you can only get yourself like your mentality has got you to the certain point you're at. Like you need help with that from other people to get past that. Like especially like you think about fitness or even like people who struggle with addiction. Like they've tried it their way for long enough. It's like if you keep trying it your way, you're not going to get there. And I think like some of that's mentality too. So if like even if you have the best program, like we've said this before, like even if you have the best program or worst program in front of you, you still have to do it. Like I think people need that coach or need that accountability, which like a program just on a piece of paper doesn't really get you, you know?
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say is honestly, and this goes into the monetary side of things or financial side of things. A lot of times, people who are not super motivated, they need the fact that they're paying for it to do it. Like because like I'm paying X amount of dollars a month. I got to do this program. I can't. If you just put a program into AI and it spits it out to you for free, you probably aren't going to be super married to that program or very consistent with it if you have a bad track record of consistency with your fitness, because
Mm.
you're like I can just I'll do a new one next month, I'll start over. You might do it once or twice a week and then fall off the wagon. But if you're paying for it, a lot of times people, because they're paying for things, not always, but a lot of times they're more inclined to do it just because it's not free. And again, that's like a little bit more just on the like financial side of things. But I still think that coaches don't need to worry because you provide a product that is, it's a premium product that people want to buy. And if people are buying things, they're more likely to do it. Chat GPT doesn't, it's free. So you just put it in and you're like, looks pretty good. Do it for a week, stop doing it, never go back to doing it. Oh, but I paid for 6 months with this coach. I better do it. I'm not wasting that money. I don't have extra money just to kick around. This is I've invested in this. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I think that's like great. I think it's like awesome for like maybe the little things like hey, what should I do for recovery or what's like a nutrition, like we talked about before, like creating a grocery list, like, or making meals for yourself. Like, hey, I want to eat these foods. What should I have? There's other aspects of fitness that I think it helps more on than like the programming side. Um, so yeah, I
Like
think
giving
like,
ideas. Like, yeah, you're on
yeah,
vacation, just throw into Chat GPT. Hey, I'm at the hotel gym. It only has 3 dumbbells. Give me a workout I can do. Right.
yeah,
and,
yeah. I
and
think
it could
that's,
spit a little mini workout for you, or you could reach out to your coach. But if you're like in a pinch, and you just want to do it really quick. That's useful, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. I think
Um,
like, yeah,
Go ahead.
no, you got it.
So the other thing I wanted to ask about the Chat GPT, like for you, is like using it, like because you said you used to kind of started to use it just for template stuff. If you were going to give someone advice, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna, times are tough economically. I'm gonna save myself money. I'm gonna use Chat GPT. Now we might be, taking clients away from ourselves here, so be careful of the secrets you give away, JP. What would be some advice you would give to somebody who's going to use Chat GPT, for fitness, if they're going to make a program or going to produce some kind of template for themselves? How do you use it for best results?
Um, yeah, I think it's great for like knowing. I think a lot of times when you start fitness, you don't know all the exercises. Like you kind of
Mm-hmm.
have like, even for me, I probably have like 20 go-to exercises, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't always like go deeper into your Rolodex. Or I think especially for me, individually programming for myself, I think I tend to go one way,
Mm-hmm.
trend towards like strength training. Just lifting heavy stuff, pick
Mm-hmm.
things up, put them down. And you don't really want to train like, I don't necessarily want to ride the bike for 30-40 minutes, or I don't really want to like do plyometrics or like even stretch. Like there's things that like you just like, if I had 30 minutes, I'm going to do what I want for 30 minutes. And I think
Mm-hmm.
like I think it's a great benefit to kind of like you said, like even the soccer stuff, like it's kind of like brings a different focus in or maybe a different perspective in, that you were like, oh yeah, I don't like doing these, but I know I should. Now that like you've kind of brought it to my attention, I know I should, instead of maxing out my back squat every day, maybe I should ride the bike and do some rowing, or like,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
just like kind of like just do something, get you out of your own, like, kind of, I think everyone's in their own ruts or own grooves. I think it just like kind of like refreshes it, or gives it a different perspective.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, I like that. It is a different point of view, right? It's not going to be you. You're asking ChatGPT or AI to spit something out. And like I said, the program it gave me, I was like, whoa, I would not do it this way. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe not doing it the way I would do it is better for me. So I might as well give it a whirl. Um, I'd say one thing I would tell somebody, if you're going to go down that path, I'm going to use ChatGPT to program for myself, or ChatGPT is going to be my coach. Um, Definitely ask super specific questions or give it super specific prompts, because the broader the prompt you give it, the wider the net it's going to throw out and bring in um, things that maybe you don't want or need. So being really specific about age, injury history, um, exact goals, timelines, that kind of stuff is what you'd want to ask ChatGPT, which is basically the stuff that when you're on ramping with you and me as an athlete, it's the same stuff that we would ask you, but you would have to put that into ChatGPT if you're looking for a program that might work for you. I don't know that it will, because it's still going to just spit something out, that's produced with their, with the ones and zeros, as you said. But you've got to be really specific with what you ask, because like I said, I found that the broad question I asked, it was like, this is not what I want at all. It's way, way off.
Yeah.
So you have to be really, really super specific and ask exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. I think it's a tool, like we said in the beginning. It's just something that you can kind of use as reference. Um, but yeah, I think it gives you a good starting point or a good outline.
Would you ever use a Chat GPT program? I'm not, let me be clear to people. I'm not just like using I didn't put in Chat GPT, this program, and then I just like spit it out and it's what I'm doing. I took it as a very rough template and then plugged in things I wanted and shuffled things around a little bit. But would you ever use a program from Chat GPT if you spit one out for yourself and you're like, maybe?
Yeah, I think I could ask the right questions, enough right questions to, or give it the direction. Because the more prompts you give it, the more specific it gets. I think I would follow it. I don't think I would like stay on it like like for a year or anything like that. But I think I would definitely like do it as a phase, or just like kind of, um, you know,
Experimental.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think like 4 weeks, 5 weeks on it, I think would be fine. Um,
I will say that I haven't had a coach in a long time, like since probably in over 10 years, more. I've just been programming for myself. The one thing I will say, at least for myself, right, as someone who coaches people, programs for lots of people, it was nice to I don't want to say turn my brain off, but like take a little bit of the pressure off and just let Chat GPT spit something back at me, and then trust it a little bit, because I did still tweak it, but just say like, okay, I see what it's kind of doing here. I'll take what it's sent me and shuffle a few small things around to fit my life with kids, and I got to mow the lawn with my vest and that kind of stuff, and then and like see, right? I'll trust it a little bit and let it run its course for like 6 to 8 weeks, and so I didn't have to write out my own blocks or anything like that. It just sort of like did it for me. And just that little bit of like weight off my shoulders was like, oh, that's nice. And I just open up my spreadsheet and I go do the workout, and it's all fine and good. And I feel good.
it's kind of
But
like it's kind of like you're on the other side of like how your clients feel.
yeah,
Like you just get something, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. Like, it's brainless.
it is. And that's the to me the part that's a little tricky is that it is brainless, but it's not. It's not as
Right.
simple as, it's not like put in
But
the
but I'm
ingredients.
saying the outcome, like when you get the program
Yes.
and you have it, and you're like, oh, like I'm just gonna do this, this, and this. It's not like you're trying to like create a warm up in your head, and then you're trying to like, okay, because I did that, this is the strength I'm gonna do, or like
Yeah.
you just like, oh, A, B, C, D, okay, cool,
Yep.
did it, like I'm done. you know Gives you the rest periods, or you rest, have a fixed rest. Like it's nice to follow. Like, I really like following a program, and maybe I don't write it. Like, maybe
Yeah.
I follow, like, a lot of times I just use other people's programs or jump around just to kind of like experiment. I add my own things in, but like it's good to experiment on different types of programs,
Yep. Yeah.
as a coach.
Yeah, as a coach, you can learn a lot, and like we always encourage people to read books, right? Read people's material, and see people on social media and stuff, and just pay attention to that stuff. But as going back to the original conversation, like I don't think, like I'm really not worried about AI. Like after this, when I started playing with it, I was like, oh, is this bad? Like, am I a cheater? Like, am I a poser because I used AI to like put together some ideas for. I'm like, and I don't look at it. I don't think of it as that, because the reality is, right, as coaches, we've been influenced by other people. So we're kind of like our own AI. Like we're just a compilation of all the stuff we've learned and all the stuff we've seen, and taking all of those influences, all of those experiences. And that's become how we program and created our own biases and our own style and principles. So, I've borrowed stuff from Jason Brown. I like stuff from Fred Duncan. I like stuff from Blaine McConnell, like all these different people online that I see. And like Joel Jameson, he programs a lot of conditioning stuff. So like no one's reinventing the wheel. No one is originating like a lot of stuff. Like most of the stuff has already existed for a really long time. So we're all just our own like mini versions of AI, I guess is what I'm saying. So
Yep.
I don't see it as like wrong or cheating to punch some stuff into AI and be like, hey, throw me some ideas for a workout with an assault bike and a box and a barbell, just to like see what comes out, because it's it's a tool, like you said. So I'm not as scared or put off by it as I was before I tried it. Is, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
I think a lot of like big programs, like you see it a lot of times, like there's AI builders, or a lot of them are using AI in there. Like, you know, they say they make a customized program for you. They're using AI. Like it's just on there. They have their tweaks on that. You type in your age, like you ask all the questions, and then they're literally taking the information. Like there's no one there like specifically writing the program for you. It'll just shoot it into AI and then pop it out, and that's what you're going to follow. They might obviously have parameters of what they're going to use, but you see that all over the place. Like you sign up for apps or you buy other people's programs. Like, I like buying other people's programs just to see what they're doing, and what their outcomes are. You could tell a lot of it's just pretty general, if you're not working with a coach one-on-one, but just all different ideas, all used in AI. So yeah, I think it's even the app I have, like the program, like they have a specific like AI builder in there, and they ask a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of questions and then pump out a workout. And I've never got a workout that I'm like, this is perfect. Like,
Yeah.
cause it's probably like maybe 40% that I take, maybe less.
Yeah.
Just, kind of honestly, I think just the equipment stuff, like, hey, use a ball and body weight stuff and get a workout, I
Yeah.
think it's a great tool.
And it's not like, that's a good thing, right? To
Yeah.
like ask it a question like that to get a different idea, because you probably have 10 exercises, like we mentioned before, 10 dumbbell exercises that you use all the time just because they're great, right? And they're effective. But it's like, I want to throw my clients something new. Hey, hi, tell me a different exercise they can do with a 50-pound dumbbell. And it's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. That's a great one. And just, you throw it in there.
Yeah.
That's a tool, right? It's not cheating. It's not wrong. And your client that you're working with, the athlete you're working with, is getting a good product from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
From you using that. And you knew the question to ask. And that's the other part of it too. Like, you're still the expert. You still got to ask the question and put it together. You're just getting a little, you're getting a little help from the tool.
Yeah. Full head start.
So, folks, long story short, you still need us. You can't get rid of us. All right. AI is just a tool. I would encourage people of any level, right, to go out and just play around with ChatGPT or any of the other AI interfaces out there, and ask us some questions about fitness or put together a program. You could even, if you already have a coach, have it build a program and then send it to your coach and say, hey, what do you think of this? Like, is this something good that you would do? Or do you think that this is trash? It's just I think a good way to explore fitness, explore programming, and learn more about it, because nobody knows everything,
Right.
not including AI. Right. So, don't be afraid, coaches. AI is not going to replace us. It's just a tool. Use it as such.
I think if you want to learn though, like read books. Like
Yes.
AI doesn't teach; it just
No.
shoots information out. But like if you actually care about your fitness, like go read books. Like go read programming
Yes.
books. Like
Read
that's where you.
programming books, articles. There's lots. I mean, the internet literally is you couldn't read everything that exists out there as it is now, and there's more coming out all the time. So, go out there and read books. Pick the brains of people who are the experts out there, because that's all AI is doing. They're just
Right.
taking all the stuff that already exists and throwing it together for you.
That's it.
So where can they find you, JP? Not AI stuff.
JP Wiz on Instagram.
And there's no more PowerFlex Wizard on Facebook. That has been shut down because it
Yeah.
was so cool that
So
the
cool.
traffic crashed. The traffic crashed his Facebook page because that name was
Viral.
so epic.
That's it.
You can find me in the Dad Bod Chronicles on Instagram. We're going to be having on our next episode coming up here in a week a fun guest. I don't want to give away any names or any spoilers, but we're going to have a guest on, and we're going to try to throw some more guests on as time goes on, as we get people on. So looking forward to talking to them and seeing you folks there.
Boom. We'll see you then.
See you then.